Hola, buenos dias. These are your last grammar notes of the year. That's so exciting. Okay, so we're going to be talking about setting the scene and reciprocal actions. Okay, so setting the scene. If we remember from talking about our preterite versus imperfect folder, that the imperfect is used to describe people, places, and situations in the past. Okay, so for example, la casa de mis abuelos era enorme, tenía 5 dormitorios. My grandparents' house was enormous. It had 5 bedrooms, so we're giving background information setting the scene. Okay, so the imperfect is also used to talk about a past action or situation when no beginning or end is specified. So it's just kind of a vague thing in the past. Había mucha gente en la casa para el aniversario. There were a lot of people in the house for the anniversary. So it's not really given a specific beginning or ending time. So we're going to use the imperfect. It's also used to describe the situation or background information when something else happened or interrupted. So for example, todos mis parientes bailaban cuando llegamos. Everybody was dancing when we arrived. Okay, or all of my relatives rather were dancing when we arrived. Okay, so this is just kind of a refresher of when to use the imperfect. Okay, so go ahead and write these sentences in Espanol, and then check your work. So these are all like interrupted activities and then interrupting activities. So your first verb, well, you should figure it out. Figure out if you should use the preterite versus imperfect. Use your folder. All right, hit pause, write your sentences, hit play when you're done. All right, number 1, we were sleeping when it began to rain. So sleeping is going to be in the imperfect and beginning to rain is going to be the preterite. Dormíamos cuando empezó a llover. Juan and Ava were chatting when suddenly she started to cry. So chatting, imperfect, started to cry, preterite. Juan y Eva charlaban y de repente ella empezó a llorar. Our family had a picnic while we watched fireworks in the park. So these are simultaneous. While is one of your imperfect indicator words, so those would both be in the imperfect. Nuestra familia hacía un picnic mientras veíamos fuegos artificiales en el parque. He was having fun until he fell in the pool. Having fun, imperfect, fell into the pool, which is fell is caerse, which is why it's in parentheses there. So that one would be in the preterite. That one is on the back of your folder. So both of these verbs actually are on your folder. Él se divertía hasta se cayó en la piscina. So make sure you have a Y here. And then divertirse is regular in the imperfect. There were a lot of people at the anniversary party, so not given a specific beginning or ending. This is a vague statement in the past. Había mucha gente en la fiesta de aniversario. Okay, now what I want you to do is you're going to do activity 10, which is on the next slide. Here are the instructions. You're going to read through a paragraph that is a letter from a student in Spain about an experience that she had in Spain. And you're going to choose either the preterite or the imperfect of each verb that's given to you. Okay, so go ahead and read through here. Couple things. So whenever you see like this little number 1, so look down here and it'll tell you what it is. Let's see where it is. There is, here we go, una saeta. The description of the saeta is right here. So it is a flamenco style song that is sung in Sevilla, especially around Easter. Okay, so that's a word that you don't know. There is not a translation for it. It is just una saeta, like it is a specific type of song. And then flamenco is a specific musical style from southern Spain. Okay, so read through, choose preterite or imperfect, be ready to tell me why on each one, and then we'll go over it. So hit pause, and then hit play when you're done. All right, queridos padres, acabo de pasar unos días increíbles. Dear parents, I just spent an incredible few days. Mi familia española decidió ir a Sevilla para celebrar la Semana Santa. So number 1, decidir should be in the preterite because of deciding is a single action. So decidió. Nosotros llegamos, we arrived. So again, single action. This would also be like narration, like what happened. Nosotros llegamos el martes por la noche y las calles ya estaban llenas de personas. We arrived on Tuesday night and the streets were already full of people. Llena here means full. So, preterite, imperfect, because this is giving background information. Había un desfile que en la Semana Santa se llama procesión. There was a parade that for Holy Week is called a procesión. En la procesión vimos pasos muy grandes con flores y estatuas enormes que se llaman imágenes de la iglesia. In the procession, in the parade, we saw floats. So if we see this little one, so that tells us floats. Really big with flowers and enormous statues that are called imágenes from the churches. Las imágenes eran, so imperfect, antiguas y muy impresionantes. The statues, the enormous statues, were very old and very impressive. Había bandas y otras personas que tocaban música durante las procesiones. There were bands and other people that played music during the processions. Y luego ocurrió algo fantástico. And later something amazing, something fantastic happened. Una mujer salió. So this would be preterite here because she came out onto a balcony. Salió a un balcón y empezó a cantar una saeta. So a woman came out on a balcony and began to sing una saeta. A saeta is a flamenco style song that is sung here in Sevilla. Todas las personas en la calle escucharon con atención mientras ella cantaba. All the people in the streets listened with attention while she sang. Por fin, and por fin is an indicator word for the preterite. El paso, the procession, llegó a la entrada de la catedral y entró como es la costumbre durante la Semana Santa. Qué experiencia maravillosa. At last, the procession arrived, so that's a single action, at the cathedral and entered as is the custom during Holy Week. What a marvelous experience. So here are your answers. So double check, make sure that you have them right. Okay, I'm sure you did wonderfully because you all are brilliant. Okay, the last thing that we're going to talk about is reciprocal actions. And reciprocal actions are easy peasy. Okay, so reciprocal actions are used to say that two or more people do an action to each other. Okay, so like they hugged each other, they shook hands with each other, they kissed each other, etc. Okay, and the way that this is used is you use the plural reflexive pronoun. So that is your nos, os, or say. We hugged each other. Y'all kissed each other. They kissed each other. They said goodbye to each other. Okay, and you just have to use context to decide if it's reciprocal or reflexive. So if it's like they kissed, like say besan, you can either read that as they kissed themselves, but more likely what happened is that they kissed each other. So you just kind of have to use logic there. Okay, so tell me if it is reciprocal or reflexive. So we'll do a couple together. Los niños se despedían con un beso y un abrazo. So the children said goodbye with a hug and a kiss, or with a kiss and a hug. So are they saying goodbye to themselves or saying goodbye to each other? Saying goodbye to each other, so that makes it reciprocal. Los novios se prepararon antes de casarse. The engaged people got prepared before getting married. So this one we can read in either two ways. Either they prepared themselves, they got themselves ready, reflexive, or maybe the groom dressed the bride and the bride dressed the groom. And they like prepared each other. Okay, I would probably translate this as reflexive just because of what I know about weddings. Usually the bride and groom do not dress each other or do each other's makeup or hair. They do that themselves, right? Okay, so either way you want to translate it, but I mean, like I said, logically it would be reflexive. Mis hermanos se llevaban bien de niños. My siblings got along well as children. So this would it be got along well with themselves or got along well with each other? Probably each other, reciprocal. Las niñas se abrazaban mientras lloraban. The girls would hug while they cried. Were they hugging themselves? Were they rocking and hugging themselves while the other one was sitting and rocking and hugging herself? Probably not. That's going to be reciprocal. Okay. Las niñas se ponían vestidos cada día. The girls put on dresses every day. Did they dress each other? Probably not. They probably dressed themselves. Reflexive. It's really just as easy as that. It's, are you deciding, are they doing this to themselves or are they doing this to each other? The sentence setup is exactly the same with reflexive and reciprocal. You just rely on the context to decide what it is. Okay, write these for me in Espanol. Use a reciprocal pronoun. All right, and then hit pause, hit play, write them, hit pause, write them, hit play when you're done and check your work. All right, the number one. Los niños no se llevaban bien en la fiesta de sorpresa. Okay. The man and the woman were kissing at the wedding. El hombre, I think I used the imperfect for all of these. I don't know why. This one would probably be more likely be in the preterite. Oh well, we're going to go with it in the imperfect. El hombre y la mujer se besaban en la boda. We hugged each other while we said goodbye. Nos abrazábamos mientras nos despedíamos. In general, we would greet each other with a hug and a kiss. Por lo general, nos saludábamos con un abrazo y un beso. Y'all told each other jokes every holiday. Os contabais chistes cada día festivo. Or ustedes se contaban chistes cada día festivo. All right. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. Let me know. Have a wonderful day. Adios.